out in the middle of the Atlantic right now. Well, not really the middle, but we're going on the outside rather than going ICW. Swell's not too bad. Winds are about 14, 15, gusting to 20. We're doing about between 5 and 7 knots, so should be at Writesville for 4 o'clock.
We're the Redneck Redcoats, and we're sailing SV, fresh to solding.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us back now. Let's move closer to a new history, find out what we can be together. Take my hand and we will conquer the world. This is our final chance. 'Cause one day we'll be looking back at this. We were in a big mess together. But we found a way to choose right from wrong. We found the strength to go on together. To go on together. Yeah. To go on together. To go on together.
Hey! Anyway, what are we doing?
We are actually sailing.
No motor,
The motor.
just the sails.
As you can see, guys, we've managed to make it out of the Cape Lookout. It's a bit cold and miserable on the Atlantic up here right now, so we're all wrapped up like great grannies. A little bit rolly, not too bad. Winds are about 13, gusting to 18, so I've got a reef and everything. Seem to be moving along between 6 and 7 knots, so should make it to Writesville Beach for about 3:30, 4 o'clock. That'd be great.
The seasickness has gotten terrible. Steven's thrown up like 3 times. Talon's thrown up. Me and the girls haven't thrown up, but we have not felt well. And we all have patches behind our ear. I ran out of the prescription ones, so they're just over-the-counter ones, but definitely have to get some more prescription ones. We're about an hour away from Writesville Beach, which is where we're going to anchor at for 2 days. And then we're going to try to get into a marina for next week for a few days, because I need to, the only reason we're even going to Writesville Beach or Wilmington is because I have appointments at the VA that I had to miss when I was supposed to go. We were supposed to be back in Wilmington over a month ago for me to go check them. But anyway, I'm going to try to get all that stuff sorted, and then we'll head south. But anyway, we're going to stay here for a few days anyway. Where are we?
We are in Writesville Beach. Put 2
Which-
anchors out so that we don't drag.
Yes, because it's still very windy.
Everything's very packed here.
Yes, there's not a lot of room for anybody here. And but the kids are down there on the switch, chilling out, talking, talking. And then all of a sudden I hear Lexi say, "Hey, can we just stay here forever? I have full bars." And Talon said, "No, let me see." And then all of a sudden it's dead quiet. Got a kid at the table and everybody's really quiet. So they're all on their phones. How was your lunch?
It was okay. A hard piece of shell got lodged in my throat, and I felt like I was being stabbed from the inside out.
But other than not chewing your food well enough, how was your lunch?
It was good.
How about you, Talon?
It was good. I couldn't finish my burrito.
Did it taste good? What about you, Lexi?
I got a big grilled cheese, and there was a lot of cheese. There's food on your camera.
Yeah, I was about to
Probably
say,
so, because I ate it. Oh, cheese. Steven, how was your lunch?
Lunch was excellent.
And the price wasn't terrible.
And my grilled cheese looked like a salad was in it.
Yeah, it had a lot of meat in it. I don't know about salad, but it definitely had a lot of meat. It was grilled cheese with a lot of meat. And what else did we get at the store, Steven? Which
Blankets.
Yeah, show us. Pull one out and let me see it. So why do we need blankets, Steven?
Because it gets cold in the cockpit when we're sailing.
There's a hole in it. Like tiny holes in it.
It's just the way it's made.
I know.
But it would help keep you warm if you're on the...
Oh, this is big. Yeah.
That one could be yours. This one can be mine. Actually,
The boat looks a little worse for wear today because we went a little grocery shopping and then just piled everything in. But how's the weather?
Weather's cold.
And a little miserable.
Yes.
So what's our plan?
We're going to Wilmington on Sunday, and then you got your appointments on Monday, and then Tuesday we're leaving to go south.
Why are we going south?
Warmer weather.
So what the Coast Guard just came over the radio and said was for those of us anchored in Writesville Beach to be aware that there's a huge piece of a dock that broke loose and it's coming down the river. And a couple boats down there, the boats down this other way are all dragging. So there's no way. For us it's even worse because we believe our anchor chain is wrapped around our keel. So we can't get the anchor up and we can't really move. We just drag wherever the anchor wants to go. We're waiting. Steven's in about, 5 minutes or so. Steven's leaving to go up to a marina to pick up 2 divers that's going to come and entangle us. I don't know how they're going to do it in this. It's going to cost us $500 just to put them in the water, and then after the first hour it's another how much is it more an hour? $150 for every hour after the first hour. Hopefully it won't take an hour. I'm hoping they'll be able to do it pretty quickly. Yeah, it's rough. This is not what we signed up for, but we're not going to let it be the end of us. Do you feel, Steven, like our inexperience is hurting us right now? Or do you think this would be the case if we had a lot of experience?
I think this would be the case. We have only known about so now we're just dropped over now.
I can't be sure, but I think there was 2 cats at the end that actually collided into each other. Oh shit, we drug a long way. We're
really dragging.
you can see there's a sign way down there. We were right by that sign. Yeah, but are you able? No, I think we're far enough out of the middle of the channel. Because look, there's that sign.
Yeah, try to line us up with that one too.
I think we're lined up pretty good. So, yeah, that's the U.S. Coast Guard right there. Pulling a...
Right. You're going to have to control this. Are you going to be good?
I'm terrified, but I guess I haven't much choice, do I?
What we're trying to do is try and either keep us in there.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm hoping that the anchor will actually hold it enough. But if not, just
Give it some gas.
give it some gas, and if you have to do it, do it. Let it say.
Holy crap. I'm worried about you going over there. Nothing freaking scarier than having Steven say, he's got to go get the divers, then I got to keep the boat where it needs to be when the anchor's not working, and let's hope I can do this. So if we're being really realistic, Steven says to me all this stuff about keep it in this spot, and if you have to do a circle, he says a circle, do a circle. Because in my mind, he was going to hop in the dinghy, rush over, get those divers, and come right back. But that's not how it worked out, because the waves were so strong that it took him forever to get there. Then the parking lot of the marina was flooded, And then he had to go to a different part of the marina to get the divers, and it took him forever to get back. He was gone for well over an hour and a half with me just trying to keep the boat in the same spot, and that didn't work.
Out in stormy weather, I might have the blues, but nothing ever stopped me from dusting off my shoes. You might think you'll see me falling to the ground, but I threw up my umbrella when rain stops hitting down. Yeah, on a bad day, on a good day, I don't need no sunshine, 'cause I'm dancing with the rain. You will see me running, thinking I might be insane. I don't need no sunshine.
You can't see in the video. I just honestly didn't have time to move the camera so that people could see what was going on. But suddenly there were a lot of kayakers and paddleboarders in front of the boat. There were hundreds of them. There was some sort of marathon going on, and there were just paddleboarders and kayakers everywhere. I was struggling to turn the boat around without hitting me. We're dragging again, and I'm trying to move the boat like Steven told me, but there's kayakers on the other freaking side. I don't understand. Why are you out kayaking in this crap?
Looking out the window, reflecting who I am. No one ever stopped me, not even Uncle Sam. Life might be a struggle, life might be a fight, but I am here to show the world that I can make.
This is crazy. I swear our anchor's probably not touching the bottom at all because Steven says it is, but we're just floating all over this freaking river. We're not staying anywhere. I just called Steven to check on him because he's gone to pick up the divers that's going to untangle our anchor. I don't know how any diver can even go in this water. It's so bad. But anyway, they're trained professionals, so I'm going to trust their judgment. But anyway, I called Steven just because I was worried I hadn't heard from him and he'd been gone for a while. He said all the marinas are flooded. The parking lots at the marinas are flooded. We are actively blowing back again. See that?
Out in stormy weather, I might have the blues, but nothing ever stopped me. Shoes, you might think you'll see me falling to the ground, but I
I think it's worked itself loose.
There's nothing around the keel now.
Right, okay, let's drag it into that person.
Okay, go ahead.
No, wait, let him move, let him move.
Good now, yeah. Anchor line was wrapped up. Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, we already came all the way back. Okay, so the anchor's let loose, and he got the rope off the rudder. Watch out for that sign, Steve. What? Is there anything else up there that could be tied to?
I don't think so, but I can try pulling it up.
That's probably good.
Yeah.
Matt, you just hold the boat.
So because of the wind, we put 2 anchors out because we were just spinning. But one anchor decided to drag itself into the other anchor, and they wrapped themselves around each other
And
around
the rudder. So our second anchor was wrapped around the rudder twice and pinched and wrapped all around our anchor. So if you pulled the second anchor up, it wouldn't come because the first anchor, the main anchor, was holding it in. Try to pull the main anchor up, it wouldn't come because the second anchor was holding it down.
So what we did to try because it was extremely windy and I needed to know that I could start the engine, I cut the road on the one anchor that was
On the spare anchor.
and then cut it as short as I could underneath the boat so that it wouldn't get fouled up on the prop.
And we sent a GoPro down to make sure there was nothing on the prop.
And then because of the 30 knot winds that we had last night and the tides here, the boat started to spin again, wrapped itself around the keel, plus wrapped itself around the last of the
Main anchor.
the other anchor. So we had to get a diver in to free up the rudder.
Listen, the
Well, I
weather.
went to get the diver from the dock because it was cheaper for me to go and get them than for them to put their boat in and come and help. The main anchor started dragging extremely badly.
So for over an hour.
So for over an hour while I got them, Michelle had to drive around
Well,
the channel.
I would drive back to where we were originally anchored, and it would drag back to the next boat almost. So I would drive back, and I spent a lot of time here pointing to where we should be with the in gear, trying to go back to where we should be and not getting there. I couldn't turn around. You were having to do circles to get back in the right direction. But I couldn't even do that because there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kayakers in some triathlete something or another. They all had numbers strapped on them. It was so cold.
Freezing cold.
I don't know how those people were out there. Most of them had no shoes on, and a lot of them had on wetsuits, but they were shorts or just swim shorts and a shirt, a wetsuit top. It was so bad. We almost hit a dock. We almost ran into somebody's boat. At one point, a kayaker crashed into our boat and threw himself into the water, and then I fell trying to get to him. It was just awful. But he managed to get back on he was on a paddleboard, not a kayak, and he got back on and took off. What is that?
Oh, the bridge.
Oh. Do we have to go through that? I'm moving up here because of the wind. It was
In
a...
the process of the trail going around in circles, she unwrapped.
I managed to unwrap the main anchor, but it was still had all this rope from the second anchor wrapped around the chain around the anchor. It was awful. And in the midst of all that, when we left Cape Lookout, you do know you're going right towards those boats, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll worry about this and I'll look constantly and tell Steven what he's trying to drive into. Huh? Yep. Anyway, when we got ready to leave Cape Lookout, our boat wouldn't start because the starter battery had died. And we thought maybe something was wrong that it wasn't being charged up, but we've done everything possible to make sure that the alternator was charging it. And we ran this boat motor pretty much all night last night. So our starter battery should have been okay, charged, fully charged. It was not. So I have very little footage of the divers, but we did have 2 divers that came out from, what do they call it, J&J?
J&J Boat Services.
J&J Boat Services. They're out of Southport, but they came to Writesville Beach for us. And then they got the rope that was around our rudder. One of the reasons that we chose to cut we lost our second anchor. But one of the reasons that we chose to cut it is because it had wrapped around the rudder up at the very top where the rudder connects. And when the wind was pushing the boat, it was actually pulling on our rudder. So it was either cut that rope and lose that anchor, or take a chance that the anchor was going to damage the rudder. So we chose to cut the rope. So now we don't have a second anchor. We're going to have to buy a new one. I don't know when we'll do that because, listen, the divers charged us a little less than $500 to come and do what they did today. I personally, if I was them, would not have gotten the water today for $500 because it was very rough and we weren't anchored. So the only way that we could keep from crashing into docks and other boats was to keep the motor running, and which meant that engaging the prop, which meant that he was under there with the prop going. It was just unsafe in my opinion, but anyway, it's what had to be done, and they did it. They did a great job. They're extremely helpful, and they came here in a vehicle that only carried 2 people, so one of them hung out here at the boat while the other one drove Steven to the store so he could buy a new starter battery. So, ooh, look at all them feathers. Water is full of feathers. Anyway, we are down an anchor. We do still have our main anchor, but we don't trust it because obviously we've drugged twice now on it. We had to buy a new starter battery. Anyway, we had booked a marina starting tomorrow, which would be Sunday through Tuesday. We're leaving Tuesday morning. Steven had got in contact with them and said, look, it's been a rough 48 hours for us and we just need to come early. They don't actually have a spot for us till tomorrow, so they're going to tie us to their fuel dock for tonight. But that's better than us not sleeping for a third night, so it is what it is. We're going to go and tie it to their dock in Wilmington. What's the name of the marina we're going to? I forgot what it is, but we'll put it in the... I'll put, like, right down here, little words to tell you where it is. Anyway, we were in Writesville Beach, but we're on our way to Wilmington now. We're going to motor there and tie up to the fuel dock for the night and see if we can't just get a decent night's rest and kind of get our bearings. Because right now, Steven and I are exhausted. Steven more so. I can't even begin to explain. He stayed up for the last 2 nights, pretty much all night, maybe 3 nights. Constantly moving us back to a safe place because we were dragging so much. clearly our anchor's not that great of an anchor, and we're going to be looking at buying a new one, but we just can't do that right now. But for now, we're going to basically, the storm that's caused all this whole mess is supposed to be blowing past on Monday, which is why I have appointments on Monday, and then we were going to leave on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, it's supposed to be like 70 and sunny. So we'll see.